Thank you, Caroline. One day before the election and the race is at a virtual tie. So what does this mean for the candidates as they make their last push to sway undecided voters in their direction? Political strategist Tom Serafin joining us now to talk about this. And Tom, let's start with what's happened over the weekend. A poll that surprised a lot of people from the red state of Iowa showing that Harris was actually 3 points ahead of Trump. And that's a state that neither the Democrats or the Republicans have really been focusing on. What do you make of that?
No, that's a state not in play and within the margin of error, but 47-44 woke everybody up. And she made all the weekend news highlights. And she's a good pollster, and she's got a lot of respect out there. So they say that's an outlier, but it might be more than just an outlier. Maybe the voting minds have been shifting in the last week. I've sensed in myself, a week ago I thought Donald Trump could eke out a victory. Today I think it's a much different game. I think Harris is back in the ball game, and how they finish is very important. That turnout is really, really important, especially in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Critical states. I don't think she wins a lot of those Southern Belt states like Georgia, North Carolina, Nevada, and Arizona, but I think she's got a great shot at the Michigan, Pennsylvania, they call the Northern Wall.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because everybody is saying, even President Trump was saying, Pennsylvania is the decision maker. Is there a path to victory for either candidate without getting Pennsylvania that's realistic?
There is, but she would have to clear up she'd have to win North Carolina, she would have to win Georgia, and then she'd have to come back up to win, obviously got to win New Mexico, but she got to win Arizona. So, and then Nevada's in play too. So, and she's leading in Nevada right now. She may end up winning that state, but she's down by 5 in Arizona right now. She'd have to clear the table on the bottom. That's probably unlikely. But, Pennsylvania is so close. The numbers in the last 3 elections, Trump got 48.8% in 2020. In 2016, 48.2%. And the winner got 50% in 2020, Joe Biden. And the loser in 16 got 47.5%. And that was our good friend Hillary Clinton. But, I mean, the key is his numbers are about the same. He's got to get new voters out. And right now in this election, it looks like he's gotten people out to vote that haven't voted before. That's the key. Who's going to get those low propensity voters, and where are they going to go?
So that's a good thing for him. It's looking like he's gotten these people out. Okay, let's talk about certification, or let's talk about the numbers coming in, because last election we had to wait 4 days until Pennsylvania finally had its votes tallied and counted. And Pennsylvania and Wisconsin are 2 states that do not allow the absentee and the mail-in ballots to be counted before Election Day at 7 a.m. Do you think that's going to cause a delay this year as well?
Well, it's just a matter of if physically you can't count all those votes. You start at 7 o'clock, and you count all the votes that are voting on that day, but then you also have to open up absentee ballots, and that's the problem. The absentee ballots you have to go in and take a look at. That'll take you, at least anywhere from 5 to 10, 15, 20 hours. But, a delay of a day is not a big deal. Historically in our elections, George Bush, Al Gore, it took more than a day. I mean, 1876, it took 4 months to decide who the president was. So, I mean, making sure you got the count right is critical. And already you've got, 130 lawsuits by the Trump administration in 26 states talking about how you're counting, how you're opening, and what are you doing on this batch, and where's this batch come from. So it's going to be also litigated. And this time around, unlike 4 years ago, Trump's people feel like they're very well equipped with lawyers in all the battleground states, and they're well equipped to go out and take this to the courts.
Okay, so a lot has been made, too, about the undecided voter. At this stage of the game, are there really undecided voters?
There are people, I call them silent voters. They're people that don't like Donald Trump. I saw a poll a couple weeks ago, 41% of the undecided voters that like his approach to the economy, like his approach to the border, don't like him. So they have this quandary. Harris is not doing it for me, but I sure don't like this guy. What am I going to do? But I like his issues. I like his economy. The jobs report that came out Friday, 12,000 new jobs were really government jobs. And then they corrected it. 147 jobs really weren't new jobs, as they said they were a month ago. And almost 1 million jobs they said we had in the last year aren't really there. So they understand that they have to do something. They're going to hold their nose, I think, and they're going to vote for Donald Trump. And I think he has the edge in those voters. As far as those voters that are persuadable, that's where they're going to be. Undecided voters, I don't think there are many out there.
So you talk a lot about momentum. Here we are the day before the election. If you were to say one candidate has momentum more so than the other right now, who would that be?
I would have said, you know, Donald Trump had the momentum all the way through the situation in Green Bay, Wisconsin, when he was in the garbage truck. But in the last 4 or 5 days, it's like the air came out of the balloon. So you know, it's been a little bit less enthusiasm, less energy on the stump. I don't know if he is just you know, tired of all of it, seeing the end of his political career in a few days, or if he's just just tired of the whole thing. I think, though, she has picked up momentum. She's done some terrific rallies. She's been focused on the issues. She's been good on television. So, you know, it reminds me a little bit of '68, as I was telling you earlier, when Humphrey was running against Nixon. Nixon had all the energy going in, but Humphrey came in the last 10 days and had a lot of energy and started producing numbers, but he needed another week. I mean, the election was a week early for him, and he ended up losing to Richard Nixon. In this one, you know, half of the voters have already voted now, you know, so she's got to hope that the second half of the voters are kind of attaching themselves to her now.
All right, Tom Seraphin. Tom will be joining us tomorrow night as we bring you all of the extensive election coverage. Look forward to seeing you then. Thank you for coming in.
Sure.
We always appreciate you. Let's head over